Tonight on Crossfire, as children and protesters head for the border, President Obama is going to Texas and asking Congress for lots of money.
They're children! What is wrong with you?
On the left, Stephanie Cutter. On the right, Newt Gingrich. In the Crossfire, Senator Ben Cardin, a Maryland Democrat, and Senator Tom Coburn, an Oklahoma Republican. Anger along the border, plus the outrage of the day. Tonight on Crossfire.
Welcome to Crossfire. I'm Newt Gingrich on the right.
And I'm Stephanie Cutter on the left. In the Crossfire tonight, 2 U.S. senators. Nearly 10,000 children are coming here every month, fleeing violence. It's a humanitarian crisis, and these kids deserve to be treated humanely. But we also need to figure out who has legal claims to stay, who must be sent home, and how do we stop more kids from making this dangerous journey? Today, the president asked Congress for $3.7 billion to care for these kids and add more Border Patrol agents. He also asked Congress to help speed up the complicated legal process these kids face under current law. Actually, Congress can fix this problem, but it will require many Republicans to put aside their politics. And on this issue in particular, that's not something that we've seen a lot of.
Well, I think it's fascinating that the president's answer to this problem is to propose an appropriation larger than the entire Border Patrol for last year. Now, this is a problem which can be solved largely by a single fix, because prior to the Feinstein Amendment being adopted in 2008, the number of people coming across the border, children, unaccompanied children from those three countries, was somewhere in the 6,000 to 8,000 a year range. And it's been since that amendment that this has gotten worse. But in the Crossfire, Senator Ben Cardin, a Maryland Democrat, and Senator Tom Coburn, an Oklahoma Republican. And let me ask you, Ben, I mean, this is a situation where literally you wouldn't solve all the immediate past problem, but you would stop the flow by simply repealing the Feinstein Amendment and going back to the law as it existed in 2008. I mean, don't you think the country, before giving another $3.7 billion, the country wants to see the stream of people stopped?
I think what this nation wants to see is the countries of Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador take care of their own people. And these children are leaving. The parents are putting their children on trains because of the conditions within their country. They're afraid their children are going to be killed there. Newt, we spend a couple $100 million a year in development assistance in these countries, and now we're spending billions of dollars to take care of the problems of children being sent to our country. Let's make an investment to help these countries deal with their family issues. Let's take care of the problems in the host country so that families aren't sending their children to get rid of violence.
Your position is, unless we can fix Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, which is a pretty big assignment, about 40 million people, unless we can fix them, we have an obligation to take care of their children.
Not at all. Our policy is very clear. When these children reach our border, they're placed in deportation. They're placed in a circumstance where they're going to be returned to their host country. Yes, they're entitled to be cared for. Yes, they're entitled to due process to make sure that if they're returned into a safe environment. That's our responsibility, our humanitarian responsibility. But no, they're not being given an opportunity to come to America. They're desperate, and their families are making decisions. They're bad decisions. They shouldn't be sending their children here. It's extremely dangerous.
Senator Coburn, what about the kids that are already here? 52,000 of them. By the end of the year, it's projected to be 80,000. We have to find a way to deal with the kids that are already here.
Yeah, I think.
And that's mostly what half of the money the president requested today goes towards the kids that are already here.
It's the wrong approach. Look, for $8 million, you can put them all on a first-class seat back to their homes. That's $8 million. That's a first-class seat, one way to each of their homes.
And just skip due process altogether.
Well, it's not due process. The fact is that if you read the Council on Foreign Relations report, this isn't about violence. Some of it is, but the violence has not changed significantly in 2 of the 3 countries, and one of them it's less.
One of them is the murder capital of the world.
I understand, but it hadn't changed
well,
in the last 5 years.
Get better.
I know, but it hadn't changed in the last 5 years. So what changed this? What changed was the expectation is that you could come here and you wouldn't be sent home. And if, in fact, we have a policy to where if you come here, we're going to take care of you, we're going to feed you, we're going to doctor you, and we're going to send you back home. And what we have to do is change the 2008 law and say, you know, if you're not contiguous with us, we're going to treat you just like if you were contiguous with us. You're going to come in, you're going to be immunized. We're going to make sure that you weren't used as a scapegoat or as a trafficked.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to send you home. And if we did that, here's the real problem. When I go out and talk to the average American on this, and I was in Colorado over the 4th with my family, and I had a couple of conversations about that. You know what was really in the craw of Americans on this? It's not immigration. It's that they don't see our government enforcing our laws.
Okay, the president, though, is enforcing the law that's on the books.
Well,
and
no.
the law says that if kids come across the border from these three countries,
and I agree,
that Border Patrol has to take them in and begin the process
that's right.
of
And we can
deportation.
change that.
Process takes much longer.
That's right, but we can change that in 2 weeks in the Senate and the House. Just reverse that law and retroactively and say,
So are you going to work to get that done?
And I'm all for changing that law and sending them back. Look,
and are you
we
opposing
don't have $3.7 billion.
You're opposing that money? Some of it is for Border Patrol.
Money. No, I'm opposing that money because the money's going to be asked for again next year.
All right. Well, let me ask you, Ben, about this whole thing. And I want to share with you something which Governor Huckabee said, because I do think there's a whole issue, as you know, of presidential non-leadership on this topic. So let's look for a second. You know, he said, for Obama to go to Texas and spend 2 days shaking down donors and never even get near the border mess he helped create would be like flying into New Orleans in the highest waters of Katrina to eat Creole cooking, but never getting near the 9th Ward, the Superdome, or the Convention Center. I mean, isn't it almost bizarre that the president's going to be in Texas, do 2 fundraisers, and not get to the border?
Meet with Governor Perry?
This is not, he is meeting with Governor Perry. He is doing what is necessary. This is not about photo ops. This is not about 30-second political ads. This is all about dealing with humanitarian crisis and dealing with it in a way. Look, I agree. These children who come over here, the message has got to be clear. You're not going to get into the United States. You're going to be in deportation. But you're entitled to make sure that you're safe. And that's what the president's appropriation is about: safety of children.
And how much would it cost for the president to actually go to the border? You're willing to waste that taxpayer money? It's taking Border Patrol agents off the job, so they're not protecting the border. So, hundreds of local policemen.
You're arguing for presidential
hundred
as a function
of local
frugality. I love
policemen
this.
to protect him, and negotiation with the Mexican government to secure the other side of the border. He's aware of what's going on. He's having discussions on it in Texas. He's meeting with Governor Perry.
Yeah,
he gets briefed on this every day. And you're interested in a Photoshop.
He's meeting with Governor Perry after Perry turned down a photo
Governor Perry, you were sitting right here next to me. Governor Perry was here last week, the week before. We asked him about this. He had not one single solution to this problem. So I can't wait to see what he says tomorrow.
Oh, I think Perry's got plenty.
He's figured it out. He's figured it out.
Let me bring us back to the $3.7 billion. That's $60,000 per child that we're going to spend. In emergency money, can we, first of all, that shows us how incompetent we are. We can't do that for $3,000 or $4,000 per child. That's number one. Number two is, if we can't do that, the Border Patrol's as bad as the VA. And by the way, the vast majority of Border Patrol are not patrolling the border right now. They're involved in the humanitarian crisis.
Exactly why the president
today for the money, but the money is more than direct help for children. It has to do with border security. It has to do with proper detention. It has to do with circumstances in the host country. So it's a more comprehensive approach than just dealing with the children that are today at the border.
Let me ask this fundamental question, both of you, frankly. A child arrives at the border today. They're allowed in the United States today. They may be put in a deportation center, although in a lot of cases they're being sent to their relatives. Now, they get on the phone and call back home and say, I'm doing fine. I'm in Indianapolis. This is terrific. I mean, I don't care how many messages we send down there with paid advertising saying, don't come to the U.S. Once they are across the border and once they're in a position to call back home and tell all of their friends, This is terrific.
That's not the circumstance. They're put in a
not?
detention cell that should be for adults. They're put in with a large number of children because of the numbers that are there. They are immediately, yes, we take care of their health needs. If they have a health problem, we'll take care of it. But they're in detention, and they're in deportation. They're not being welcomed to the United States.
But they're
And
not
most
actually,
of them voluntarily, they can voluntarily agree to be returned home, and many are returned home in a very short period of time.
But they're not actually into deportation because only 1.5% will show up for their hearing. So once they're moved out of that setting.
Because some voluntarily go.
Well,
And
okay, so
most
it's
of them are
3%.
now in detention
So it's
centers.
3%. Once they move out of the detention center, they go to family or other friends or other relatives or whoever, less than 3% will show up for their hearing. So they're in the country. They won't be deported. And that's what has people riled.
Tom, I don't think your numbers are right, but let's get the right numbers. That's one of the things I think we should be looking at in the United States Senate. Let's take a look at the numbers. I think the numbers aren't quite as skewed as
The no-shows on the deportation?
Well, the no-shows are high, but I think before they get to the deportation hearings, many have agreed to return home. There's a difference for different circumstances, but you and I are in agreement. We don't want people who have come in this way to be rewarded. I agree with you. We want them to be safe, but they are entitled to certain rights.
So would you insist on including some kind of repeal or reform of the Feinstein Amendment as a part of the $3.7 billion?
I think it's a fundamentally sound law. It needs to be enforced. It's fundamentally sound. But now, can we act in a more prompt way? Absolutely. Should we? Absolutely. It's for the children and for our country. And the signal has to be to those who initiate sending their children here. It's extremely dangerous, and there is not a light at the end of the tunnel. They're going to come back home.
The best signal to slow this down is send them home.
Yeah.
Senator, on the $3.7 billion, you said you weren't going to support it. Are you going to actively work against it? Are you going to try to block it?
No, well, first of all, if we're going to spend $3.7 billion on this, I think it's way too much money to accomplish it. $60,000 per child is way too much money. And let's cut it in half. $30,000 is too much money to care for a child in a mass grouping and then place them. It's too much money. But aside from that, whatever we have to spend to adequately take care of them, guarantee them, you know, the vigor that we would guarantee anybody, that we guarantee our prisoners, to guarantee them that vigor, we have plenty of room in the federal budget to pay for it. We don't have to borrow against our children again to be able to pay for this.
Even though Border Patrol says they don't have enough agents for the border.
Border Patrol has
immigration law judges are completely buried in these cases.
Border Patrol now than there was in 2000.
And many of your colleagues, all of your colleagues, say that's not enough.
Well, no, they say there's not enough money being spent on it. I actually voted against the immigration bill, not because I was against the immigration bill, but because I was against the money.
Can I just agree with Senator Coburn very quickly? First of all, I admire greatly your work on scrutinizing every dollar that's spent, and we should scrutinize every dollar in this request. And I fully support that type of scrutiny, and I thank you for your work. But traditionally, when we have these unexpected expenditures, they have been funded without offsets. That has been the tradition in the Senate because our budgets are tight today, purposely tight. You've been responsible for making them tight.
Sorry. Next, we will turn to a remarkably different topic, marijuana. As of today, it's legal in 2 states to buy pot for fun. Should it be? Which brings us to the Crossfire quiz. How many states have legalized medical marijuana? Is it 9, 17, or 23? We'll have the answer when we get back.
This is the first power plant in the country to combine solar and natural gas at the same location. During the day, we generate as much electricity as we can using solar. At night, and when it's cloudy, we use more natural gas. This ensures we can produce clean electricity whenever our customers need it.
So your site gave me this credit report card thing. Can I get my actual credit report? Like the one the bank sees?
Sheesh. I feel like I'm being interrogated over here.
She's onto us. Dump her.
Hello?
Oh man, that never gets old.
No, it does not.
Not all credit report sites are equal. Experian.com members get personalized help and a real credit report. Join now at Experian.com with enrollment in Experian Credit Tracker.
trains go, the economy comes to life. Norfolk Southern. One line, infinite possibilities.
Have you ever looked for a hotel online? Did you notice that there's so many prices out there for the exact same room? Trivago does the work for you and instantly compares prices for over 600,000 hotels from over 100 different websites. So instead of searching for hours and spending too much, Trivago makes it easy to find the ideal hotel for the best price. Just go to Trivago.com, type in where you want to go, and with 2 clicks, select your check-in, your check-out dates, and search. It's that simple. Trivago searches hundreds of websites at the same time and shows you the most popular hotels. You can adjust the price so that it fits in with your budget, and select the number of stars, or filter by average guest rating from over 34 million reviews. Remember, Trivago shows you all the different prices for the exact same room. That's how you can be sure that you find the ideal hotel for the best price with Trivago.com. Hotel? Trivago.
Some girl starts calling her local DJ. The local DJ asks his friend to bring over a Beatles record from England and has the vision to put it on and hear that there's something happening.
The 60s, Thursday night at 9 on CNN.
Did you know that at usell.com, you can sell your used iPhone, Android, or other smartphone for $100, $200, up to $350 in cash right now? All makes, all models, even broken phones. And getting cash for your phone is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
1. Go to usell.com and get the best price.
2. Drop your phone in the Usell free shipping envelope. And
3. Say hello to your big check.
Used phones lose value every day, so don't delay. Turn it into $100, $200, up to $350 in cash. Not a gift card, not store credit, but cash. Faster than listing online, safer than meeting a stranger, and you can get more cash than with the store trade-in. Usell customers have already collected over $11 million.
I got $132.
$89.
$258.
Why let your old phone collect dust when you could be collecting cash? As easy as 1, 2, 3. Go to usell.com now and find out how much your used phone is worth. That's usell.com.
New day. The most news in the morning. Tomorrow starting at 6 Eastern on CNN.
Welcome back. The country is off on a great experiment. Whether it's good or bad, you can decide. Today, the state of Washington joined Colorado in legalizing recreational marijuana. That makes 2 states where it's legal for you to buy pot just for fun. And the answer to tonight's Crossfire quiz, 23 states plus the District of Columbia now allow medical marijuana. In the Crossfire tonight, Senators Ben Cardin and Tom Coburn. And Tom, since you're a medical doctor, I'm going to put you on the spot first. Okay. From your background as a doctor, forget the politics, what's your whole reaction to this experiment with recreational marijuana?
I think it's going to end up a tragedy. I mean, if I've searched the medical literature on this, there's never been a positive study on recreational marijuana. The connection to further drug use, the connection to depression, the connection to lack of motivation. There's nothing really positive that comes out of it. The second point I'd make is when you smoke a marijuana joint, it's like smoking 18 cigarettes. That's the amount of carcinogens that you intake. And so it's really very harmful to your physiology of your body and very damaging over the long run. And there's good long-term studies that show what happened. The third point is when you use medical marijuana to smoke it versus take a pill. We have 2 prescription drugs that work. And the fourth point I'd make is marijuana is still a controlled substance, which is raising the ire again that the president isn't enforcing the law. You know, legally, under Drug Enforcement Administration and under the law, states shouldn't be allowing marijuana to be sold because it's a controlled substance. But yet they are. So here we have, again, the same issue that I come across is leadership and integrity in the rule of law, because that's what holds us together. That's the glue that holds us together.
Do you think that states shouldn't be allowed to be doing what they're doing? That
I think
the federal government should step in and
I think we should either change our law up here to say it's not a controlled substance, or enforce our law Now, I'm pretty much a states' rights, so I would probably say the federal government shouldn't be regulating that, and the states should be able to do it, but it's still stupid. You know, we're free to be stupid in this country, and it's really stupid in Colorado right now. I was in Breckenridge this weekend.
Yeah.
That's a city that has pot, and boy, could you smell it.
What about in Maryland? There has been some action to decriminalize parts of it. What would you, if you were a former Speaker of the Maryland House, what would you do if you were still there?
First, I have no reason to doubt what Tom has said in regards to the medical aspects of marijuana. I was Speaker of the House, the Maryland Legislature. I was appointed by President Reagan to the Federalism Task Force. I believe in federalism. I do. Let's see what the states are doing. Let's see what comes out of the states. That's how we develop national policy, by looking at the states first. So I think we should let the states proceed. Let's take a look at it. Let's have some studies. Let's see how it goes.
So you'd agree, though, we ought to take this off the list up here, either enforce the law or take it off?
I was under the impression in regards to these issues that it's okay, but I hear what you're saying.
It's not. It's illegal.
Yeah.
Well,
under federal law.
So it's a perfect example of the administration using very, very wide discretion to basically say to people, don't enforce the law.
Well, I believe
I think that they're making a decision to go after more dangerous drug crimes using scarce resources. And I think that that, unfortunately, because of budget cuts, some of them good, some of them not so good, those are the decisions that...
I mean, I think the point that if you believe in the 10th Amendment, this is a great challenge for conservatives. If you believe in the 10th Amendment, then states ought to have the right to run certain kind of experiments.
I think we're going to learn a lot.
What happens?
Stay here. After we took this turn to marijuana, we want you at home to weigh in on today's fireback question. Do you support legalizing recreational marijuana? Tweet yes or no using hashtag Crossfire. We'll have the results after the break. We also have the outrage of the day. Newt thinks the entire country should be paying a lot more attention to the story he's upset about. And rightly so.
There are many ways to look into the eyes of a parent who's growing older. Don't let uncertainty be one of them. Get the whole picture on aging and customize your senior living solution at Brookdale.com.
Really? So our business can be on AT&T's network for $175 a month?
Yep, all 5 of you for $175.
Our clients need a lot of attention.
There's unlimited talk and text.
We're working deals all day.
You get 10 gigabytes of data to share.
What about expansion potential?
Add a line anytime for $15 a month.
Low dues, great terms.
Let's close.
Introducing AT&T Mobile Share Value Plans with our best ever pricing for business.
Zendesk is a new generation customer service platform. We power the customer service operations with more than 40,000 businesses all around the world. We are only scratching the surface of a very, very large market. We decided to go public here on the New York Stock Exchange because there's a combination of great technology and great people here. Seeing our stock opening on the big board is just an amazing experience.
Who could resist the call of America's #1 puppy food brand? With DHA and essential nutrients also found in mother's milk. Purina Puppy Chow.
You know, some people have told me reverse mortgages sound too good to be true. I mean, you get cash out of your home, no monthly payments, and still own your home. There's got to be a catch, right, Jesse? Well, there isn't. It's like any other mortgage, only with a reverse mortgage, the loan's paid back when the last borrower leaves the home. In fact, reverse mortgages are based on a notion that President Reagan signed into law over 25 years ago in order to help seniors remain in their homes. They're simply an effective way for folks just like you to get the cash you need to enjoy your retirement.
Call 1-800-791-6049 now to receive a new free information kit, including a reverse mortgage guide and DVD, personal stories from people like you, and a brand new family guide for children and loved ones, all absolutely free with no obligation. With a government-insured tax-free reverse mortgage from AAG, you always retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-791-6049 to receive your free info kit today.
A home is more than just a house. And an office is more than just a place to work. ServiceMaster is here to offer services for home and businesses when you need them most. Coast to coast, we do it all for you. ServiceMaster. the complete customer experience. When disaster strikes, count on our proven network of restoration specialists. Visit us online at ServiceMasterRestore.com or call 1-888-RESTORE.
Next, could one of the most liberal cities in America dispense free and legal medical marijuana? Outfront looks deeper. How would it be regulated? Is the city going too far? Aaron Burnett Outfront, next on CNN.
When I need help with the home project, I go right to Angie's List.
I always go to Home Advisor.
But Angie's List has reviews on all kinds of home pros.
So does Home Advisor. And only Home Advisor can instantly match you to the right pros for your project.
Really?
Yep. And their pros pass background checks before they're ever listed.
Oh, well, that must cost way more than Angie's List.
Actually, Home Advisor is free.
It's free?
Totally free.
Home Advisor, the free way to find and hire the best home pros.
I won this HD TV for less than $50 on Quibbits.
These are real customers who got unbeatable deals on Quibbits.com.
I won this KitchenAid mixer, food processor, and Keurig all for less than $70 on Quibbits.com.
Save up to 90% on brand new products like iPads, handbags, and appliances.
The first time I tried Quibbits, I was skeptical, but I won the first item I bid on.
That's QUIBIDS.com. Visit Quibbits.com now.
I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta. This is CNN.
Welcome back to Crossfire. It's time for the outrage of the day. I'm outraged by the degree to which we as a country have not focused on what happened over the weekend in Chicago. At least 82 people were shot. 82. 14 of them died. It's really troubling that the country is numb and so indifferent. In 2010, around 80,000 people tried to buy guns even though they were convicted felons or had mental problems. Of those 80,000 found by the system, only 44 were prosecuted by the federal government. You know, in any society, it's either dangerous to be a criminal or dangerous to be innocent. Tragically, in Chicago, it's dangerous to be innocent because we tolerate criminals having guns.
You know, Newt, when you said that this was going to be your outrage of the day, and I think it's a great outrage, I'm outraged by it too. I, looked on the internet to see what I could find, and I found this report from the City of Chicago Police Department from a month ago that says they do have a gun problem, but their gun problem is as a result of illegal guns coming across state lines or from the outside county into the City of Chicago because there are lax laws. Lack of gun loopholes that allow people to buy guns without a background check. I think that if there was an effort to strengthen our gun laws,
I'm going to yield to my friend over here because we were just
we could prevent some of these gun crimes that are happening in the City of Chicago.
There are 500 gun places in Houston, Texas, and they have a dramatically lower crime rate. But do you want to comment for a second on this whole confusion?
Here's the problem. I think Newt's major point is we're not prosecuting the people that are violating the laws.
Yeah.
It's illegal to carry a gun across the state lines in Chicago into Illinois.
It absolutely
That's illegal.
is.
So how do you enforce that? Do you enforce that by taking away somebody's right in Indiana to own a gun, or do you enforce it by prosecuting the very people that break the law?
You do it by doing both. And I don't think anybody would argue that you would do one over the other. You have to prevent criminals, gun traffickers, from getting guns in Indiana and in Cook County. Right now, you can get, for a gun dealer, you don't have to have any license in Illinois. You need a license to have a nail salon, but you don't need a license to be a gun dealer. So these guns
you have to have a federal license.
They are being sold to criminals every single day.
You have to have a federal license.
The thing that's missing, the stat that Newt is mentioning, 80,000 people, 80,000 criminals tried to buy guns. How many of them actually bought guns? They didn't because the national background check actually stopped them from doing that. So if we want to stop additional criminals, not citizens who have a right to own a gun, we're talking about criminals, we have to expand background checks.
No one has tried to take guns away from people who are lawfully entitled to own guns. The Supreme Court has made that pretty clear. Those rights are pretty clear. I think we all agree that we want to enforce our laws, but it has been pointed out, our current laws have worked to stop a lot of people who shouldn't and are not entitled to own guns to own guns. But we could strengthen those laws by dealing with loopholes that
Just remember what the U.S. Attorney did in Richmond in 1996. he started using the federal gun laws.
Let me thank Senators Ben Cardin and Tom Coburn, and my colleague for a pretty lively couple minutes there.